the recent like bigger and more public achievements that I've had, and I know the work that it took to get there, like my interview with President Obama in 2016. I know a lot of people look at that and think that it was like a fluke incident and that maybe somebody else like wrote the questions for me. I wrote the questions myself, and I know for a fact that there were women, and specifically women of color, working on the YouTube and Google teams who fought for me to be in that position. And that I had to go through this vetting process that was super intense, where I spent hours on the phone, you know, just basically putting my life story out there for people. And I know that there were multiple pieces that like got me to that place where I was able to conduct that interview with President Obama, but also ask him the question that then went viral, which was about the luxury tax on menstrual products. And I learned that information by being in the menstrual awareness activist space for now 12 years, but years, you know, even before I was on YouTube, I was like learning about menstrual awareness. And I had learned information from other people at a grassroots level, other women who passed on that information to me. And then I ended up in this place where the timing was right. And I happened to be across from, you know, the most powerful person in the country and asked him that question: why does this luxury tax exist on menstrual products? And he admitted to not knowing. And it's interesting that some people will try to like take that moment away from me and all of the other people that worked to help create that moment. And
because maybe they think that beauty vlogger, quote unquote, is that charged word that can only mean one thing.
Totally.
So I'm curious then, when you talk about, like, for example, people wanting to take something like that away from you because of the specific way that they see you, or people who do the work that you do, obviously that then becomes a moment where it's completely up to you to decide how you feel about that. And I'm wondering if there is something in there that you learn that you feel is really applicable. I mean, obviously interviewing the president is such a thing to be proud of, and such a thing that anyone can contextualize. So even when some people are trying to diminish that, it's, I think, easier than some situations to hold on to. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious what has been helpful for you in terms of like a specific strategy for when maybe it's not so easy to hold on to your personal feeling of worth and success. And even for people who might be in a job that is like incredibly thankless or really underpaid or not treated very well, like things that they can do to feel like, I don't care what anyone else thinks of this. I know I'm doing good and meaningful work.
Yeah. I think that, you know, for me, ultimately, that feeling of being diminished, either when it's coming from other people trying to diminish me, and then I'm internalizing that and I'm starting to diminish myself, I think ultimately that is coming from this feeling of scarcity, and that, you know, my life has to be limited because other people think that it has to be limited. And I think the thing that helps me to work through those moments is to not think about my life in this like tidy little box, but to think about it like I can love and enjoy beauty, and I can also be pursuing, you know, things like menstrual awareness activism, and I can be hungry for information and wanting to learn more. I can be interested in history. It doesn't have to be this, you know, only these things are okay in my life, and I have to shun, you know, my other often creative or intellectual interests. It can be a, yes, I can be this thing, and I can also be these other things too.